When you hear the word Stoic, you probably imagine a monk, a man living in a cave, eating bread and water, detached from the material world. But Lucius Annaeus Seneca was not a monk. By modern standards, Seneca was a billionaire. He was the investment banker of the Roman Empire. He owned vast vineyards in Italy. He issued high-interest loans to British chieftains. He was the right-hand man to the Emperor Nero. He didn't just understand money theoretically, he played the game at the highest, most dangerous level possible. Yet this man, who could buy anything he wanted, spent his nights writing letters about the virtues of poverty. Was he a hypocrite, or did he know something about the nature of wealth that we have forgotten? Seneca realized a terrifying truth that haunts every successful investor today. Wealth does not buy you safety. Wealth buys you fragility. Welcome to episode 4. This is not a philosophy lesson. This is a masterclass in psychological risk management. There is a collective lie that drives the financial industry. It whispers to you, if I can just hit that number, if I can just get rich enough, I will finally feel safe. Seneca looked at this lie and laughed. He observed that the rich were often the most anxious people in Rome. Why? Because of a concept we now call loss aversion, but Seneca called it being a slave to fortune. When you have nothing to lose. Your optionality is low, but your anxiety is also low. But as you accumulate assets, stocks, real estate, reputation, you are unknowingly accumulating vulnerabilities. Every asset you own is a hostage that fortune can take away from you. Market crashes, regulatory changes, lawsuits, inflation. Seneca argued that wealth increases your options, yes, but it also increases your emotional fragility. The more you have, the more you have to defend. And the more you have to defend, the more terrified you become. Most investors think they own their portfolios. Seneca would say, look closely. Your portfolio owns you. You are the one checking the app at 3 a.m. You are the one sweating over the CPI report. You have become the servant of your own success. Modern psychology calls it the hedonic treadmill. Seneca described it with surgical precision 2,000 years ago. He wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more who is poor." This isn't moralizing. This is a technical diagnosis of a broken reward mechanism. In the markets, we see this every day. A trader makes $100,000. He feels ecstatic, but within a month, that $100,000 becomes his new normal. Now he needs to make $200,000 just to feel the same rush. And if he drops back to $150,000, he feels like a failure. This is the psychological mechanism that destroys portfolios. Because you are chasing a feeling that is mathematically impossible to sustain, you start taking irrational risks. You use leverage, you chase bubbles, you ignore stop losses. You are not investing for profit anymore. You are investing to feed an addiction to more. And Seneca knew that an investor who cannot control his desire for more is easy prey for a market that is ruthless at taking things away. So, how do you break this cycle? How do you manage billions of dollars without losing your mind? Seneca developed a mental tool. It is not positive thinking, it is the exact opposite. He called it Premeditatio Malorum, the premeditation of evils. This is a stress test for your psychology. Most investors wake up and pray the market goes up. They visualize success. Seneca woke up and visualized ruin. He would actively imagine, what if Nero confiscates my estates today? What if my ships sink in the storm? What if I am exiled tomorrow? He didn't do this to be depressed. He did this to amputate the fear. By mentally living through the worst-case scenario every morning, he stripped fortune of its power to surprise him. He realized that even if he lost everything, he would still be Seneca. He would still have his mind. He would still survive. Apply this to your portfolio. What if the market drops 50% tomorrow? Don't turn away from the thought. Look at it. Calculate the number. Look at the new balance in your head. Could you survive? Would you still have your skills? Would you still have your family? If you can mentally accept the zero, you become dangerous. You become an investor who acts out of strategy, not out of fear. You can hold when others panic. You can buy when others sell. Because you have already lost the money in your head, the market can no longer hurt you. So, how do we turn this philosophy into an investment strategy? Seneca didn't practice balance. He didn't believe in moderate risk. He practiced what modern risk analyst Nassim Taleb calls the barbell strategy. Most investors live in the middle. They are moderately worried all the time. They take moderate risks that can still wipe them out. They live in a constant state of low-grade anxiety. Seneca went to the extremes. On one end, extreme safety. This is the Premeditatio Malorum. He mentally wrote off his assets to zero. He prepared his mind for exile and poverty. Because he had already accepted the worst-case scenario, he had zero downside risk psychologically. On the other end, extreme aggression. Because he wasn't afraid of losing, he could take massive risks in his career. He became the emperor's advisor. He cornered markets. He accumulated vast wealth. He could play the game harder than anyone else because he was the only one not afraid of the game over screen. This is the lesson for you. Don't be a moderate investor who is scared of every dip. Construct a psychological barbell. 1. Protect the downside. Have a survival fund. Have a plan for if the market closes for 5 years. Accept the possibility of ruin. 2. Attack the upside. Once the fear is amputated, execute your strategy with zero hesitation. When you remove the fear of poverty, you unleash the ability to create wealth. Now, a crucial distinction. There's a dangerous misconception that being a Stoic investor means being an emotionless robot, that you shouldn't care if you lose money. That is false. Stoicism is not indifference, it is insulation. Seneca didn't say, don't feel. He said, don't let the feeling hijack the steering wheel. When the market crashes, you will feel a spike of cortisol. That is biology. You cannot stop it. But the Stoic creates a gap, a split second between the stimulus, the red candle, and the response, the panic cell. In that gap, you engage the inner citadel. You ask, is this a permanent loss of capital, or is this volatility? You ask, has my thesis changed, or just the price? The amateur reacts to the pain immediately. The professional feels the pain, acknowledges it, and then acts according to the plan he made when he was calm. The market can destroy your net worth. It should never be allowed to destroy your judgment. We must end with a warning. Philosophy is dangerous in the wrong hands. Some of you might use Stoicism as an excuse. You might make a reckless trade, lose everything, and then say, oh well, it was fate. Money doesn't matter. I am a Stoic. Do not lie to yourself. That is not Stoicism. That is cowardice. Seneca didn't use philosophy to excuse failure. He used it to navigate chaos. The concept of amor fati, love of fate, doesn't mean you roll over and die. It means you accept the terrain so you can march through it. If you lose money because you were lazy, because you didn't do your research, or because you gambled, that is not fate. That is incompetence. Don't use Seneca's name to cover up your lack of discipline. Stoicism is not an excuse to stop thinking, stop acting, or stop taking responsibility. It is the ultimate responsibility. It means the market did X, that is external. How I fix my portfolio is internal, and I own the result. In the year 65 AD, the Emperor Nero turned on his teacher. He ordered Seneca to commit suicide. It was the ultimate test of his philosophy. Historical accounts say Seneca didn't panic. He didn't beg. He simply opened his veins and discussed philosophy with his friends until the end. He died as he lived, on his own terms. Most of us will never face an emperor's death sentence, but we face smaller deaths every day in the markets. The death of a position, the death of a narrative, the death of a dream. The lesson of the lost architects is clear. Markets don't destroy investors. Unmanaged emotions do. Build your fortress, accept the risk, and then play the game without fear. If this way of thinking resonates with you, subscribe to the channel. We don't talk about what to buy next. We talk about how systems fail and how investors survive them.